大家好，欢迎来到我的频道，我叫米奇今年我是汉语水平口考试5的学生。今天我要回答，如果学习汉语非常非常难。Right, let's get started. So recently there has been a great migration of not only ESL teachers but students to China, especially African students and African teachers that have been moving to China. And a lot of the times they are very skeptical of making the big move because they fear that they're not going to be able to adapt due to language barrier. And what language is that? Chinese. Chinese is very different from English. Even the alphabet system is very different because they use the Latin system, whereas Chinese uses symbols, also known as characters. So there are very, very big differences between language, not only in terms of speaking, but in reading and writing as well. So as a Chinese student, I am going to attempt to answer the question, is Chinese a very difficult language to learn? Yeah. So I started learning Chinese in 2020 as part of my university course program. At this point, I already did know basic pinyin, so it wasn't much of a struggle. I think when I joined, I went straight to intermediate level. This is because prior to COVID, I had been doing Chinese, but I wasn't taking it very seriously. And that is also how I got my Chinese name, Michi. I got that name from my Lao Shi back then, which was Cody Lao Shi. And funny story, my Chinese name actually comes from my nickname, Millie. So Millie, Michi, and my other nickname, they all sound the same. So I guess it was just easy to make the correlation between the three names. And yes, my Chinese name is very unique. I have never met anyone with the same Chinese name as me. A lot of people do mistaken me for Michi, which is Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse in Chinese, I'll put up the characters of Mickey Mouse, then I'll put up the characters for my name. You can see they're a little bit different, but pronunciation is almost the same. So yes. Okay, so why did I start learning Chinese? It was because I knew that one day I wanted to pursue my studies or possibly work in China. So I started making sure that I polish my Chinese skills. And also another reason is because my family is so big on Chinese culture. So it was inevitable to not be in contact with Chinese. So I had to learn the language. I really enjoyed it because learning the Chinese language has helped me to better understand Chinese culture, and then in turn it also helped me to better understand Chinese people. Okay, so how has it been learning Chinese?
One minute you think it's a comedy, next minute it's an emotional journey, a thriller aspect to it, but then it's quite mystical.
Okay, honestly, I would say some days are better than others. You know, some days I am so happy and motivated, other days I feel like dying. Yeah, it's like being in a marriage contract for life. You're not always going to be happy, at the same time you're not always going to be sad. So it's up and down. It's really a roller coaster. So hey, anyone who does tell you that it's all sunshine and rainbows, they are lying to you. Okay, they are lying. Honestly, I feel like learning Chinese, much like learning other language, just depends on your motivation and your reasons for learning the language. If you do have very solid goals or very solid reasons why you're learning the language, it is so much easier to navigate. And on days where you feel like giving up, remind yourself why it is that you're doing this in the first place. For me, the reasons why I want to learn Chinese is because I watch a lot of Chinese drama, and it would be very nice, you know, to watch your favorite TV series or TV shows without having to read subtitles all the time. You know, I can multitask and still follow on what's going on. Secondly is because I really want to be fluent in Chinese. I am fascinated by the language, I'm fascinated by the people and the culture, so for me it's a no-brainer why I want to learn Chinese. But I would suggest that anyone who does want to learn a language, you should write down your goals and your motivations for learning that language, because that will help you long term. Okay, so how long did it take me to reach each level of HSK? Well, China has 2 levels of the Chinese exams. There's the international level and then there's the mainland level. Today I'm going to be talking about the international level because that is well more recognized worldwide. So these are called the HSK exams. So there are 2 sets. There's the HSK, which is the Hanyu Shuiping Kaoshi, and then there's the HSKK, which is the Hanyu Shuiping Kou Kaoshi. So I'll start with the Kou Kaoshi. The Kou Kaoshi basically translates to the speaking exams. So in this case, there are 3 speaking exams. There is the beginner, intermediate, and advanced. In the beginner level, you should have done at least HSK1 up to HSK2, as it is very much basic vocabulary, basic grammar points, basic words. The second level is from HSK3 all the way up to 4/5. So this is your more intermediate speakers. You're able to relate more, you can express yourself much more. And then the last exam is 5 all the way through to 6. If you are also 7, 8, 9, you can still do the exam. And these are people who can fluently converse ideas in Chinese and just effortlessly speak. Those are like the more like native speakers of Chinese, right? Moving on to the first set of exams, which is the HSK exams. So HSK has 9 levels as of 2024. According to the international standards, which is the A1 to C2 exams, I will also just try to explain this a bit further so you can understand. Okay, so on the international language scale from A1 to C2, A1 being the beginner, C2 being an absolute native brilliant speaker of any language, right? So HSK1 to the first half of HSK2 would be your A1 beginner level, and then half of HSK2 to be maybe until like half of HSK3 would be your second beginner level, and then your intermediate starts from the second half of HSK3 until book 1 of HSK4. That's your B1, your first intermediate. Then the upper intermediate would be the second book of HSK4 until the first book of HSK5. Then your C1 would be the second book of HSK5 until the second book of HSK6, right? And then your C2 speaker would be somebody who has done 7 to 9. Again, this is as of recent, as of 2024. Before 2024, if you did HSK6, it was equivalent to C2, but because they've added new levels, that is no longer the case. Alright, theoretically speaking, this is how it is, but you know how it is, you guys. Like, a lot of people are very good at cramming for exams. So it has become mandatory for you to also do HSKK, the Kou Kaoshi, alongside the HSK exams. So they want to test you whether you are good in both, and that you have a good balance of not only reading and listening but also speaking and understanding. So yeah, those are the rules and regulations as of 2024. If you'd like to learn more about the HSK exams, I will put the official website down in the description box and you can take it from there. Alright, so how long did it take me to reach H level? There are like 1,000 videos on YouTube and on the internet on people who say do HSK4 in 1 month, do HSK4 in 6 months. That is a lie. I am telling you right now, they are lying to you. It's probably just a clickbait. That is not reality. Obviously there are people who are like extremely good at languages, but for the average Joe, that is not an accurate timeline. So for the sake of this video, let's just say I started learning Chinese 2017, right? So in 2018, I took my HSK 1 exam, and then I skipped a year, and then 2020 I did HSK 2, and at the same time I did my HSK K1, my HSK K1, in which at the time I didn't really like my HSK K1 marks. I think I got like 69%, so I wanted to redo them. So at the start of 2022 I actually took 2 exams. This is in the March series. I took the HSK 2 again because I had misplaced my previous HSK 2, and then I redid my HSK K1 and I got really good marks. I think I got above 80% or something. And then in October of 2022 I think I did my HSK 3. Yes, I did my HSK 3 then. That's true, I did my HSK 3 exams then. Okay, and then 2023 was a lot. 2023 was a lot. I wrote my HSK 4 exam in the October series of 2024, and the reason why I did this was because number one, Maloshe signed me up, and the thing is, like, with my country, if you are a university student or if you are a Confucius Institute student, they do once a year give you sort of like what you call them, a grant, if I can call it a grant, or like an incentive for you to write the HSK exams, and they will pay for it. So I didn't have to pay for it, so that was a plus. I saved money. And number two, I desperately needed my HSK 4 certificate because I had misplaced both of my HSK 3 certificates and I really needed them. So I had to step my game up and I had to do it. But it was scary. Let me be honest, it was scary because online a lot of people do say that the jump from HSK 3 to HSK 4 is a big one. It's a huge jump from HSK 3 to HSK 4, because HSK 3, imagine, okay, HSK 3 is kind of like kindergarten level, you know, you're busy walking with your teacher, strolling around. HSK 4 is like your first day of high school. You don't know what's going on. They literally throw you in the deep end and they say, yep, right, finish, give it to us. So I was scared, but at the end of the day I had faith in myself and I really worked hard, and yeah, here I am, 2024, starting my HSK 5 journey. Alright, so is learning Chinese difficult? I would say, my honest opinion, conversational Chinese, learning the basics of Chinese is very easy. Going beyond that level is difficult. And Chinese is one of those languages whereby I can't say everything is difficult, but I also can't say everything is easy. For myself, speaking is very difficult for me because I'm always nervous. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want Chinese people to laugh at me, although they are very kind and encouraging. So I would say, in terms of speaking Chinese, for me, difficult level is 7 out of 10. In terms of reading and writing, for me, I would say it's a 4/5 out of 10 because I love reading and I love writing. Listening to Chinese, difficulty is 8 out of 10 for me. So yeah, if you do want to learn Chinese, I would say just go for it. Start and see where you end up. You know, I started and here I am. I never imagined myself being an avid speaker or learner of Chinese, but here I am. I can read a lot of characters. I can hear, not well, but I can hear, I can speak to the best of my capabilities, and I believe you can as well. Alright guys, this is the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe and like the video. I will be making a couple more videos in this series, and then I do have other series as well that I will be exploring. Bye!